Time is now 7 o'clock. The Cicero Town Council meeting is now in session. If you could please rise for the saying of the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing, Ms. Garrett.
You got me. Thank you, Father. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this opportunity to come and be together and work out the things that the town needs to work out things for the town. Father, I'm always so grateful for the council and all they bring to the table, but I'm also very thankful for the residents who make it all happen. Father, I pray that you be with us, continue to support us and love us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you all. Thank you, Rhonda. Ms. Garrett, if you could please take roll.
Certainly. Joe Cox.
Present.
Eric Hayden.
Present.
Dennis Johnson. Jacob Everett. Emily Pearson. Present.
We have a quorum with 3 members present. Moving along to the approval of the agenda. Has everybody had an opportunity to look over the agenda? It was pretty light.
I think we need to, under new business, add a bike ordinance update,
Discussion?
discussion. Thank you. And resolution 06, a resolution for agent, or for the clerk to be the agent for closing on a property.
Okay, and also under old business, if we could add the police lateral hire policy, please. And then under miscellaneous, just put Eric Hayden. All right.
Under miscellaneous, we'll add energy property discussion and the fire discussion.
Fire.
And that's just per your email.
Oh, okay.
Nothing new.
All right, any other additions or amendments to the agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved. Emily Pearson.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? We have an agenda. Moving along, has everybody had a chance to look over the prior town council minutes dated, we've got the exec session memorandum dated May 14th, 2026, town council staff meeting minutes dated May 14th, 2026, and the town council meeting minutes dated May 19th.
I'll make a motion to approve all 3 of those as presented.
I'll second.
A motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Good to go there. Moving along to the claims. Has everybody had an opportunity to review the claims? Any questions, concerns? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims as presented.
So moved. Emily Pearson.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Go ahead and pay the bills, Rhonda.
Thank you.
Moving along to the council committee reports, EDC report, there is nothing. Mr. Freeman, stormwater?
Good evening, Council. Nothing to bring new to you from the Stormwater Board per se, other than Keith, still some of Keith's thunder. Looks like the project on Morse Landing is going along quite nicely. Curbs are in, and we're about 6 driveway approaches. What Terry said, everything seems to be, there was actually water flowing, so we tied it on some pumps, so they were pumping water, so that was what we wanted to do to keep it on the streets. And the only question I had, I talked to Frank and Terry and to Keith about how soon you're going to let Frontier get back in there. We still got asphalting to do, we still got landscaping to do. We got to give the customer, give the neighborhood a chance to kind of breathe a little bit before we bring the other people in.
So they've done the entirety of the digging that they're going to be doing, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
We're in the probably third of the way through, maybe halfway through.
Okay.
And, but anyway, it was just the idea of trying to keep that concrete from getting too scratched up. But other than that, it looks like you're doing a good job.
Awesome. Super appreciate it.
Any more questions?
Still targeting mid-June?
It's up to Keith. I would say, well, middle of June, already, I can say that, yes.
Okay,
I can
perfect.
say that, whether it's going to happen or not.
Confident it's done by the 4th of July, though.
I know, that seems to be a sticking point, but I would say the 4th of July.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, moving along to legal counsel report. We have none tonight. Cicero Jackson Township Plan Commission report, Mr. Zawadzki.
Good evening, council. I have here in front of me the latest version of the director's report. I sent this out via email yesterday. I trust everybody got a copy of it.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me. This is for May of 2026. Permit revenue for the month of May 2026 is $5,697. Brings us up to a year-to-date of $47,708. At the same time last year, May of 2025, we were at $4,629 for the month, and $17,906 for the year. That's a difference for the month of May, $1,068 to the plus, and $29,802 for the plus for the year. We issued a total of 34 permits for May. 22 were for within the corporate limits. No new homes there yet. We issued another 12 out in Jackson Township. One new home out there, though, however. We had a little bit of right-of-way permit action with one extension this month. The estimated cost of these projects permitted is $1,408,535. In other news, the Planning Commission meeting will be on June 10th, 2026, right here. We do have items on the agenda and will meet. And the next BZA meeting is scheduled for June 21st, right here. We also have items on the agenda and will meet. That's my report. Anybody have any questions for me?
I've said it before, I like the report with all the permits. Thank you for
detail?
sending that out, yes.
You're welcome. Thank you.
How's your new system working? I know, is it getting better?
There's bright spots, and then there's spots that we're really looking for some improvement on, and we're working with them. The customer support has been not what we expected it to be. I took that up the chain yesterday. Seems like we've got some results and people responding to get some of our questions answered. One of the main things that we've having trouble with is we had a click to pay button on the permits, and it just wasn't working. It took us like 2 or 3 weeks to get that straightened out. It does look like it may be straightened out now. So the complaint side, the violation side, the inspection side, all that stuff is working phenomenally well. We like it. The records keeping is not what we want yet. The payment side is not what we want yet. And there's one other area for sure that I don't think is up to snuff yet.
So I tried to fill out a form on it, and it
Was it hard?
I ended up going back to it or pulling it off the website or something, I don't remember.
Okay, well,
But I didn't spend much time on it either. I didn't put much effort into it, but it wasn't real intuitive to me.
a lot of people have been saying that. A lot less, though, than we expected. So I expected a high number of people to complain about not being user-friendly. I'd say probably 80% of the people just whipped right through it and got a permit requested and submitted that way. From our end, the management side's been not quite up to snuff yet.
Okay.
So we're a little disappointed. We're definitely disappointed, but we're working to improve it.
Okay. Thanks for that update.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Mr. Strong, do you have anything? Do you have anything anywhere else on the agenda? Okay, just making sure I don't forget you tonight. All right, moving along. Town engineering report, Mr. Bryant.
Hi, Keith. Hi, Keith.
Wastewater project, the full plant has started up operation, so we've got everything running in compliance right now. We did email IDEM, we notified the enforcement section, so everything is moving ahead, and now they're working on some building touch-ups, miscellaneous work, and restoration is what Reynolds is doing now to try to get totally closed out, and they hope in the next 3 or 4 weeks. We will have a meeting with them tomorrow and get a little more updates on that, but good news is the plant's operating and doing well, so.
I don't remember, we pulled out the slats on the fencing, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, as I recall, it's pretty expensive to
Yeah.
install those.
On, when we were at the trail dedication, looking back over, Mr. Hunter, we may, and Terry, we may look at putting some trees back along that east fence. Just something to look at. I'm not saying to do it or not, but it just caught, maybe not my eye, but my wife's eye and my kid's eye.
We could certainly look at it, but it may be very tough to do because that's a ditch right outside my fence.
Okay, yeah, if you guys,
We'll take it.
okay, thanks. Okay, I'm good with that, thank you.
2026 CCMG, that's East Jackson Street. The contractor was supposed to start next week. Today, they told us they had a delay getting their storm structures that they have to get, and they're going to start on June 16th. They still claim that they will be done before July 1st. If they are not done before July 1st, they should at least have the pavement done. They might not have striping done. We'll make sure that everything gets buttoned up for the activities. And Dan informed me that starts on July 1st or Wednesday through Saturday. So, and they're east of 19. I don't think we have really a lot going on over there east of 19, but still, we don't want any issues. So they should get finished still based on their schedule, but weather comes into play. You never know for sure.
Good.
Morris Landing Undrained Project, Mr. Freeman discussed that. I would just bring up a couple other things. We are looking at a potential change order of about $2,300 to replace the structure grading. One of the existing structures was, the casting was broke, so we're looking at that. Some of the pavement where they saw cut is breaking out. We may have some additional paving costs too that we have to work through. But
Why would that be us? They're the ones that saw cut it?
it's a unit price bid, so we told them how much to plan on because they had to base their bid on something, and if it turns into more, then theoretically they should get paid for it. So we're looking at different options. Some of those will include maybe some trade-offs and some savings to apply to it. So in any case, that's where we're at with it. So. The only other thing I had was just to suggest to the council, if you could, maybe in the next month or so, take a look at what we had emailed on the potential application for the CCMG project. I think we had emailed that in April 19th, and we talked about it a little bit, but we've got some time, but we really need to probably figure out what we're going to do in July so we can get started and meet that tight frame that they give us if we're successful.
Right.
Now, the concern with that would be that if we don't get the grant, then we spent the money, but unfortunately with their shortening of the time frame, we don't have the latitude we used to have to be able to wait till we get the grant and get it done and meet the requirements. So, and we can talk about that in detail. I just would ask that maybe you look at that and we can start going through questions and figure out what we want to do.
Rhonda, would you put that on the staff meeting, please?
Will do.
Thank you.
That's all I had. Any questions for me or?
I don't have any. Do you guys have any?
I don't have any.
Thank you.
Thank you, Keith.
Thank you.
Thanks, Keith.
All right, moving along to old business, police lateral hire policy. Vote that in tonight. Jeff, you just want to give a quick overview of that?
Yeah, so basically, we had one in place to start with, but it was very limited, it's basically just down to the salary. And what we were wanting to do is just get added in the vacation benefits into the starting, so somebody brand new that's been a police officer 4 or 5 years or whatever is not coming in and having to start off with 0 vacation, just be another little point to try to help lure somebody here. That's basically about all we added to it.
Yep. Okay. And basically it went up to 5 years tenure, right?
It's 5 years max, yeah.
Anybody have any questions for Chief on that?
No.
If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the revised police lateral hire policy.
So moved, Emily Pearson.
I'll second.
Motion and second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Good to go.
Thank you.
All right, moving along, new business. I'm going to start with Resolution 06-02-2026-03. And what that is it essentially gives Rhonda, our clerk treasurer, the power to act as our closing agent for the real estate acquisition related to water. So she'll be able to sign those documents. Does anybody have any questions on those? No?
I'll make a motion to approve that resolution.
I will second.
Motion and second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Good to go there. All right, now to the meat of the meeting. Moving along to the proposed ordinance for e-bikes. So this is going to be a discussion tonight. We have the initial draft done, which essentially mirrored Fisher's, the ordinance they just adopted. However, as we work through it, we need to make some revisions to that. Unfortunately, Aaron had a medical procedure and he's not with us tonight. So what we're going to do tonight is have the discussion, pin down exactly what revisions we want him to make. pass those along to him and have it ready to vote on for the next meeting. Okay. Chief, would you mind coming up to the podium? All right, so essentially, as stated, this more or less mirrors Fisher's, and it's ultimately going to have some revisions that are made for Cicero in particular. And what it does is it breaks down each type of e-motorized vehicle by a classification, and it does impose fines for enforcement. You kind of want to walk through?
So like I said, I don't know what percentage is, but.
Is your microphone on, Jeff?
Yeah.
Okay.
A high percentage of it is based after the Fisher's ordinance, but it defines like every vehicle basically that we're encountering. It gives responsibilities of those vehicles, it gives responsibilities of motor vehicles, and then it gives, and I think there's even one in there toward the end for the e-motos and all that. But what we're looking to do is try to, like I said, telling you earlier, the biggest complaints I get are on the e-motos, just because of speed. I think a lot of it is, and the mobility of them. And I'm sure they're fun to ride, and that's created a lot of it too. But
So maybe we start with the, you want to finish first? You can finish first.
no, I didn't know how far you want me to keep going there.
Maybe we start with the motos. So there is my opinion where I think they should just not be allowed on public streets, unfortunately. And I think there's another opinion of headlights, taillights, brake lights have to be 15
Valid ID and a helmet,
with a valid ID and a helmet.
only on public roadways, is
Only on
where
public
it is
roadways.
allowable use.
And the problem, then also, I mean, is that under 750 cc's or, aren't some of those over?
I'm sorry?
The CC, the power of the e-moto.
I don't
It's not cc.
The electric ones are based off of watts, from what
Watts,
I
yeah,
understand.
sorry.
Yeah. So my understanding, a lot of them are 750 watts, but you can also get them, if you want to spend a lot more money, get them with more wattage, and then they will go considerably faster than what the ones that we're seeing. I mean, like 40, 50 mile an hour is what I've been reading on them.
So I guess the first discussion we need to be had is, do we think those belong on public streets? Either way, we would say not on the pathway and not on the causeway,
Yes, we are in agreement on that.
because it would be considered similar, in that case, it would be considered similar to a moped.
Yep.
Um,
So essentially, when relating it to a moped, we would, one side of it would be we put similar restrictions in, and that's what he talked about the 15-year-old age requirement, the front lights, the rear brake lights, a required helmet, and a valid ID. And that essentially mirrors the restrictions that are currently on mopeds. That have
Mopeds
been
and
around for
motorcycles,
years.
yeah.
And motorcycles, yep. So,
So, I mean, I know dirt bikes are not electric, but it's a similar item, right? And they are
Basically
not
off-road.
allowed unless they are plated on our roads.
Yeah, they're basically off-road vehicles. A lot of them are.
Right. And it goes the same with gators and side-by-sides, and unless they are plated,
Right.
I know it's gas versus electric, but they're, like Jeff said, Chief said, they're off-road.
Yeah.
now, when I was thinking e-moto, when we were having these conversations, I was thinking 28 to 30 miles an hour. So maybe it would be a good idea to have a wattage restriction on those as far as what would be allowed on the road.
Well, I think first, Emily, do you have an opinion to allow, not allow?
E-moto. These are the ones without the pedals, essentially.
I mean, they look like dirt bikes.
They look like dirt bikes, yeah. I agree, they don't belong on the roads. I don't really want them on the sidewalks either.
They wouldn't be on the sidewalks. They would strictly be limited on the roads by, like a moped would.
But
Or
yeah,
not on public property at all.
but if they have to go through the licensing process of having the valid ID, I think that will work.
It's a 15-year-old minimum age. It doesn't require a driver's license.
But they have to carry the ID.
Right. You
So-
do have to have ID. So, but see,
There are many communities completely outlawing the e-motos.
sure, but we do have of-age, valid driver's license drivers responsibly driving e-motos around the community as well.
Again, go ahead.
And so, in some situations, they are limited, that's their only mode of transportation, whether it be a legal issue or some other issue. So I'm not in favor of completely cutting that avenue off.
To me, it's the same as a dirt bike, in my opinion.
Was everybody looking at me?
Well, I'm not, we have differing opinions.
We do.
We need to figure out what we're gonna tell our legal counsel to write up what we believe is right. Jeff, do you have an opinion?
At first I was taking the reaction that you just mentioned, just to ban them, it'd simplify things. And it's the problem we got with mopeds too. As soon as a kid puts a helmet on it, I don't know if he's 13, 14, 15, or whatever. I don't know if that's a good place to start, is going with what the president has said, put them on the road, give them the restrictions, and treat them like mopeds for now. Go to the wattage, if you just make them adhere to the traffic laws, the speed limits, whether it's 750 watts, they can do 30. If they get a bigger battery, then they still have to do 30. I will go with whatever you guys tell me, but either way, like I said, my first thought was banning them all. It'd just simplify it. The most complaints I get personally are e-motos, not the e-scooters or bikes, and it's the way the kids are driving on the paths, ramping everything, wheelies across the street and things like that.
Which I am in favor of taking them off the paths and the sidewalks. I just don't want to cut them off completely. I have no skin in the game on those. My kids don't have them or anything.
Me either.
I just don't want, I don't want to be a police town, not necessarily a police town, but I don't want to go over the top. I prefer to give opportunity for them to prove us wrong, essentially. People have investment in these things, and I'm trying to be conscious of that, so that's where my stance comes from on them.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm sure we're still going to get complaints. They just put helmets on all these kids, not knowing who they are, what their age is, until we get out and pull them over or stop them just to check them. And then parents are going to be going, why are you always pulling my kid over to check them? But
From an enforcement standpoint,
it makes it a little difficult.
there are can you scroll to that fine schedule? Okay. So essentially, we're looking at $150 fines, and if not paid in 30 days, that fine increases to $300. Jeff, can you kind of walk through and explain what those fine schedules mean?
So it'd be like the first violation would just be $150 if they're found guilty. I think it says in here also, and I know I mentioned this to you a long time ago, I don't know if you remember about this, the ordinance bureau that the town put in place a bunch of years ago, which might be an option, I don't know, I haven't talked to Rhonda about it, she's probably not real big on it, but some of the communities I think start out with a lower fine. If you get caught a second time, then it elevates, third time it goes even higher.
Within a 365-day period as well, right?
Yeah, from the start of whenever you get your first ticket. And if you get another one within that 365 days from there, then your fine could go up. Where it appears this is just every time you get hit, it's going to be $150.
So I would go along with you on that refined. I think the one I saw was, I won't speculate what it was, but yeah, like up to $500, and then after a year, 365 days, it starts over again if you're clear.
So are you talking about also, like if it's on the first offense, it's at a lesser amount than the 150, then the second offense, it goes up?
Yes. I saw a schedule like that. I don't
Okay.
remember where.
Yeah, I must have too. I was thinking it was in here, but I don't know. I've seen it on other ordinances like that.
I mean, if you want to do that, and if you want to grab that one and
Research that.
yeah, put
Yeah.
that out. I'll see if I can find what I found as well. There was just an article in Warsaw about them, And it might have been, might have read it in that.
Were you interested in the ordinance bureau, or do you just, we just cite them straight into county court? The ordinance bureau is something that would be maintained through the clerk's office. Years ago, I think, and I don't know if Jim could probably back me up, 20 years ago, or Jan actually, 25 years ago, we started it. I don't know if it ever got used very often. But I remember we had tickets specifically printed up to send them to the clerk's office, and it was, you know, back then it was, I forget what the reason was, but it was a lesser amount, and I think that might have been what was the escalating fine schedule was back then for them. But if somebody didn't want to pay their fine in the ordinance bureau, then we would go back and write them a ticket, cite them in the county court, and then we could go in front of a judge. Ordinance bureau is basically going in there going, yeah, I did it, here's my fine. But if they wanted to fight it or, you know, have somebody else listen to it, then we could cite them in the county court. I don't know if they want to make it an option or if we can just go straight to the county court. But I'm sure she'd have to set up something or go through it again and
I'll take care of it.
and refine it.
What would your recommendation be? Because I'm sure there would be some unhappy people coming in, and I think you get that enough.
We get that a lot. It's the nature of the business, and I'm not opposed to it. I can,
I can talk to you about it and just see
Yeah,
exactly
we'll
what it
work it
was
out.
and how it's set up and see if
Just-
it's something we want to do, if you want.
we'll get another spreadsheet, Dan, and get it. I got a
Honorable
spreadsheet.
Rhonda Gary presiding.
Be careful.
One thing about the e-motos and how it was worded in the original ordinance is it basically lumped e-scooters into the ban, which I did not personally agree with. The e-scooters, I still don't understand how they ended up in that same classification, but I'm not in favor of taking the e-scooters off the roads. You know, if the bikes are allowed, then I don't see why the scooters are a problem.
Okay.
That's my opinion, Emily.
As long as they're responsible. But again, if we have problems, if our police officers can pull them over and give them a ticket or give them a good talking to, because I remember when I was a kid, I wouldn't have wanted our police officers to pull me over, or worse yet, God help me, go to my parents.
Right.
I mean, that's the avenue we tried taking instead of writing tickets to a 12-year-old child. Is we're going to round up a parent and have a discussion. It just happened today. We got a complaint, and we tracked down the parent who got a hold of the child by his cell phone, told him to get his butt home, and then they kind of worked out what the issue was. Don't know if it's exactly the child or the car that was behind them, but so anyway, we do what we can, try not to write tickets. The other thing, going back to the speed and all that, with Jim and the parks and all that, I don't know if it's in there, is to add something, some type of language in there as far as the parks and speed limits and.
Well, the e-motos would be taken out of the parks completely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Except the parking lot, right? They've got to have a place to park if they're going to
Well,
be
that's
on the
true,
road.
but you mentioned public property.
He mentioned public property.
He mentioned not on public property, so but yours was like allowing like the scooters, like stand-up scooters and all that. You didn't have a problem with those, but they were insensible and then there was a certain speed limit?
What I would like to see is that none of the e-bikes, e-motos, motorcycles within the parks.
Are you talking every classification?
No,
Just the e-motos?
just the e-motos, not in the park period.
Parking lot, anything?
No, I think I have to allow them in the parking lot.
Okay.
If they choose to come to the park and enjoy the basketball or whatever, I need to allow them to park.
Sure.
And have a place to do that. I don't have an issue with that. But riding within the park, in what I call inside the fence area, from the north to the south or down in Red Bridge Park, I don't want them on the paths. I don't want them, when I came up here tonight, there were 6 of them at the library pavilion, ramping down into the drainage ditch. And last night I had several of them ramping off of the hill at Red Bridge Park. One went halfway down the hill, lost control of it, and ended
Within the parks?
within the parks.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
What about a speed limit? 5 miles an hour?
I'd be okay with a speed limit, but honestly, most people walk at 3, and if you're on one of them and you're using the electric power, it's hard to go less, it's hard to go 5 or less. So I really don't want to make it more difficult for the police or anybody else to enforce, and if you do it like police officers traditionally do, well, he's going 8, but that's not far enough over, and that one's going 10, but I'm not gonna worry about it. I prefer just to say, no electric power on the paths within the park. And then you have to be pedaling or using the relay power. And I understand if you feel compelled that you need to set a speed limit, I'm okay with that. But it just gives me a lot more availability to deal with the problems within the park without having to have the police come all the time and deal with, well, he was riding way too fast. It'd just be so much easier if we said no electric power within the park.
Within the park, I can get behind that.
Okay.
Sounds good to me, because I know there's a problem, and I know from working Lights Over Morris last year, there was a big problem with people coming in, trying to run over people, basically.
Audience feedback on anything we've talked about so far?
Really want me to?
Or do you want us to go through the rest of it first?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so just moving along, so we do have to make a decision on the E-motos, and I would suggest in the situation we're in, being there is disagreements, we have we have it worded 2 different ways in 2 separate ordinances when it comes to council for the vote, and then we can hash it out then. But Causeway, I think that's the logical next place to talk about. There was a talk about totally banning them on the Causeway. I am personally not in favor of that because I believe it will push them to the bridge, which creates a bigger problem. So I think it just needs to be regulated on the Causeway with a 5 to 8 mile an hour speed limit. Because like you said, the 5 mile an hour is tough to maintain on those things. But I think they need to be allowed to be used on the Causeway to keep them off of the bridge.
And Causeway, you're
Not
talking
I'm
about,
not talking E-motos. E-motos would be roadway only.
you're saying the Causeway, you're talking about like the
The
footbridge.
the
across
walking
the
bridge,
road. Okay.
yes.
Works for me.
What was it? Jeff, do you have a speed? Jan, do you have a speed limit you'd like to see?
Well, you can pedal a bicycle 20 miles an hour. It doesn't have a bumper on it.
We're not talking bicycles, we're talking only electric.
I think it really, on the causeway itself, it needs to be low, very low. If you,
What's low? 5, 8?
I said 5 to 8 because I've seen in other communities, it's the weirdest looking sign I've ever seen, but it's 7. So, I don't know how they decided that, but
I was just in a parking garage last week that had 8.
that 8, yeah, so, I would be fine with 8 just to give them the ability, because that's probably about minimum speed right around
Or
there.
you could use the other, say 5 and they're gonna do 8.
That's fair too, you know,
You sell them 8, then they'll do 12 or whatever.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
So maybe we put the signage at 5?
Okay.
Fair, everybody?
And then when you're going 30 and they pass you, you know you got it.
Yeah.
But again, that E-motos will not be allowed on that portion of the causeway. So they would be, if we go the route of the age restriction and everything else, they would be on the road only. Okay, what was the other one?
Well, so I think we need to have a discussion of class 1, class 2, class 3. Because we had said no class 3s, right, on pass.
And a lot of them, class 3's been banned from trails also because they can't do up to 28 mile an hour. And like I was telling you earlier, that kid that was on, he said it was a class 2 and he was doing 31.
So what if we were to put a speed limit of 10 miles an hour on trails? And not say class 1, class 2, class 3?
Maximum speed limit. I think we need something.
Yeah, I can get with that.
Because, I mean,
We need something
we just had the discussion, they're selling class 2 stickers on
Yeah.
Amazon.
Yeah.
But we need to make it clear that it's still in the parks,
Yes. I think Aaron's just gonna have to break it down. But I think we need something down the path from like down Stringtown Pike, or if we don't have anything to invite in it, then we're just gonna tell them slow down, and we're gonna go down the road and they're gonna go
Right,
back at it.
right.
I mean, what do you think is reasonable? What would you rather do? Police class 1, class 2 versus class 3, or police a speed limit?
Speed limit.
Sure.
The only way I can tell 1, 2, and 3 apart typically is just by a sticker it's supposed to be on the bike.
And see, part of my justification here is we limit the golf carts to 20 miles an hour. So it would make sense to me in this regard to take the class 3, to use class 3 restrictions since they can go so much faster.
To a speed limit, or just not allow class 3?
Well, that's the hard part. They can go faster, but I think we just need to have a general speed limit regardless of the class.
Okay, I agree with that.
Okay. Is that fair?
Speed limit on the trail,
I'll tell you, personally, I'd like to see it on the roads too. I mean, if we have that restriction on golf carts, I mean, there are golf carts here that can go 40 miles an hour. They're still limited to 22 miles an hour.
yeah.
Are they limited?
Golf carts?
Yeah.
20 mile an hour max,
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know
supposedly. According to ordinance anyway, yes,
that. Okay.
yes. But are you also talking about putting the class 3 bikes off the trails and onto the streets as well, since they can go a lot faster? Or if they adhere,
Then any,
See,
you need to.
or make them adhere to the speed limit, yeah.
my challenge with that is class 3 is not going to look any different than the class 2. It's still going to have pedals. It's pedal assist. And as long as it has pedals, I think we limit it just by the speed limit.
Okay.
Otherwise we're getting into some pretty thick minutia there.
So trails are 10 and road is?
20. I don't see why they'd be allowed to go faster than the golf cart.
Question, most of these bikes probably don't have speedometers on them.
Right.
So the person who's riding it, if there is a speedometer on it, it's probably built for speed. So I think that could be a factor. If you look at the bike and go, oh, it's got a speedometer on it. You knew you were going fast.
Yeah, well, class 1 and class 2 max out at 20.
Okay.
So it's class 3 where you get into that gray area.
Okay.
Because they'll go up to 28 to 31. Well, actually, you said you can get them up to 40.
Yes, I had a kid today on one I talked to, and he had a Speedo on his, and he said he's running 31, but I couldn't find like a class sticker on it.
And that was my other concern, was judging, oh, this is a class 1 or 2 or 3. And
Right.
I'm sure they could easily just go.
Well, and that's part of easing the enforcement too, was my thought process with that, and just putting a standard speed limit across the board on them, and having those class 3s limited to the class 1 and 2 speed limits, just to accomplish that, because, I mean, frankly, golf carts don't have speedometers in most situations either, you know. But most golf carts don't exceed 20 miles an hour stock.
Bunch of them out there now that.
Oh, I mean, mine will go, but I get it, you can make them go faster, but, you know.
Seen a lot of new ones. And
But ultimately, the bottom line is these things have to respect and follow the laws of the road, you know, no matter what type of vehicle.
Well, so the causeway is 30 miles an hour. If you push an class 3 e-bicycle out there, if they start riding there because they don't want to go the 8 miles an hour.
I still say we limit it to 20. That's what we do with golf carts across the bridge
Okay.
too. I mean, that's my opinion, but
Okay.
any disagreement on that? It just doesn't make logical sense for me to allow them to go faster in a golf
And
cart.
then there were requirements about helmets under 15, I think,
On which ones?
e-bicycles?
I
Or
know
was
class
that only
3
class 3?
class 3 requires it. You gotta be
Okay.
15, wear a helmet.
I'd
and
be
such.
fine
I don't
making
think 1
every
or 2 does.
class. I mean, if a class 1 can go 20, it's just as dangerous as a class
I
3
don't know
going
that we
20.
can, though.
I don't know what the maximum speed limit are on those. Like I said, some of these bicycles, they get going downhill, they could probably get up 20 mile an hour if they really want to work it too, just regular bicycle.
I think they all need helmets.
Well, we can tell Aaron to put that in.
We-
Anybody under 15, 16 helmets?
We can talk about that, but we're going to have to talk to Aaron about how that's going to affect bicyclists.
Doesn't affect bicyclists, we're only talking motorized.
But they're only motorized part of the time.
We're only talking about a motorized
Okay.
portion of the ordinance.
All right. See, this is where it gets tough. Yeah, I
We're
completely
only talking
sympathize.
about don't even talk about bicycles, we're only
Okay.
talking about a
I
motorized.
completely
vehicle.
empathize with communities trying to work through this, because it's not easy.
So where did we end then? Anybody on e-bicycles, anybody under 16 wears a helmet?
I'm all for that. I don't think kids recognize how dangerous a wreck at 20 miles an hour is.
We're already forcing on scooters under 15, is that right?
Even-
On
Or not?
e-scooters,
Yeah.
underneath our coordinate, or the draft he's got now, yeah, you're supposed to have
So
a helmet
I don't
and
see
an
the
ID
difference
card.
between an e-scooter wearing a helmet and,
I agree.
okay.
Agreed.
Just for the record, I never wore helmets, but
I
Well,
never
we
did
drank out of
either.
garden hose too, right?
it explains a lot, I know.
Is there any other area we need to cover?
So we talked trails, max speed 10,
Mm-hmm.
roads, max speed 20, 5 across. Are we doing 5 or 8 across?
I do 5,
Do 5.
5 across
Yeah.
the
Causeway
Causeway Bridge.
and in the parks.
No electric power within parks. That means anything. All e-bicycle classes allowed. Anyone under 16 is required to wear a helmet. And then our last sticking, I'll look through my notes again, but our last sticking point is e-motos, if it's allowed or not allowed.
That's the only one we got to come to an agreement on, or a majority vote at least. That's why I suggested we just have 2 versions of the ordinance and let the vote take care of it.
Okay?
Yeah.
I do have a concern about somebody that is over 15 putting a younger person as a passenger.
That's a fair point.
I think it calls out, there's several, in this ordinance, there's several areas where it states intended,
If it's built for one, you can only have one.
Not allowed to pull somebody with a rope is included in this,
No
or any other
predators
type of
or anything
thing.
like that. But
so that's all built in here.
If it's designed for one, then you can only have one, but I know some of them have a longer, like a bench seat. Now, how I find out if it's built for 2 or 1, I don't know.
I mean, yeah,
I've seen,
I just say what I see, and what I see is additional passengers.
even a lot of the stand-up scooters, I see 2 people on them,
I
Yeah.
just saw one on my way here.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Reynolds?
Can I clarify on the park, within the parks, that we're just saying no use of electric power? They can be there and they can ride through on pedals or manual legs or whatever, but they cannot use the electric motor. I don't mind them going through. My wife and I got them and we enjoyed them. We rode over 400 miles last year.
Yeah.
But I just want to clarify that there's no use of the electric motors within the park.
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
And then if we were to do e-motos, they are under 750 watts?
750 watt max, or I forget how it rates, 750 max or
I think
under?
that's what I saw.
Okay.
Otherwise not allowed. So then if we go through, let's see. Talk Causeway.
I mean, they have 10,000 watt e-motos. 750 sounds good to me.
And you talk about aggressive driving, excessive speed, speeding around pedestrians. Jan, there is a point in here, similar to vehicles passing. Anytime they pass, there needs to be a 3-foot span between. Do you have the ordinance? Did you read it? Okay.
On the causeway, there may be a little issue with that, but notification on the causeway would be big now, that they're coming up behind them. That is a huge issue, if you're walking.
Some type of audible signal.
Section A, motorized device operator responsible and Class 3 e-bikes are prohibited from operation on multi-use trails.
E-motos would be regardless.
Are you going to remove the e-bikes?
Yes. Yeah, so everything we just talked about, right in the yellow here, needs to be revised.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got the original rough draft.
I do have the original.
We don't, that's all we have too, so.
Okay.
So I think we have a background. I will email this to you, my notes, Jeff, to you and to Aaron, and who else wants it?
Since
And Randy.
Dan was
I
working
can't
on it also.
email you my notes. You'll see the final ordinance.
Question, I heard mention of the e-bikes, did they have to be helping parked cars? Mm-hmm. So did they have to use crosswalks?
What was that, E-motos or?
Well,
No, he's just talking about any of them.
So it's unsafe, there's verbiage about unsafe driving, that would fall under the unsafe driving.
Discretionary by the police.
So the intention is to clarify, or to take care of that, but
Yeah, I think underneath the operational rules, you got the 3-foot clearance, and they got to wait till it's safe to pass.
Dan had a
then-
question. Then Jen?
So just for clarification, on the e-motos, states that they can walk those across the causeways, or you're going to take that out as well, or will that stay in?
If e-motos, I wouldn't have a problem with e-motos being walked across the causeway, but still, again, I'm in support of the 15-year-old age restriction and everything else, and at that point, they should be going across the bridge, the e-motos only.
You can walk an e-moto across.
You can walk, I don't have a problem with them walking an e-moto across, but an e-moto otherwise is not allowed to be under power across the causeway.
Or on trails or anything.
Yeah.
Well, I knew that was in there, I thought we should clarify just to be sure, so,
Yep.
thank you.
I mean, my hope is e-motos are removed from public property altogether. Because I view them as a dirt bike.
Sure.
So Jan, you had a question?
If you're going to change the electric bikes to only use pedal power in the parks, I would not be opposed to putting the pedal power only on the causeway and forget the speed limit, you didn't have to deal with the speed limit. I don't know if that,
Just treat them like a normal bike going across.
So then we still have the one-wheeled things, we have the hoverboard, whatever they're, I don't even know what they're all called. You have the
skateboard,
scooters.
scooters.
Yeah.
The speed limit just gives a broader coverage, was what we were thinking. Yeah.
But, and I should point out that the only reason I want it to be no electric power within the parks is most of my paths are only 6-foot wide paths throughout the entire park. And at least across the causeway, it's quite a bit wider.
Okay.
So that's the only reason. My paths are so narrow that I would prefer to use them.
And I think we're all in agreement on that, so. Any other audience feedback?
if this ordinance would pass at the next meeting, when would it take effect?
I think we take effect.
it's usually 30 days. I have to, I don't know if it's one I have to put in the paper, but when I do it, it's 30 days after passage.
And then signage as well, and I think we can start working signage now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we can essentially put the rules in place so people are aware of them, they're not enforceable at this point.
which brought me to notification. How are we going to notify the public? I mean, in reality, there are certain regulations that you have to do by state law, but how many people will read that newspaper, read that notice that's posted somewhere?
I think we can create a summary of it and put it on the town website and the chatter pages. That seems to cover most.
But there will also be, I mean, that's where we talk about signs as well having to go.
it's true.
Mr. Hahn?
Just brainstorming, what would be the cost of putting like a little speed sign out there on the causeway?
I looked that up today, actually, and they range from $300 to $500 a piece. Oh,
That might be something to
solar
consider, too.
powered. Yep. Yeah, and Jeff and I actually talked about that yesterday. Mr. Freeman?
The speed limits on the causeway, is that mainly, obviously, common sense, to protect the pedestrians that are walking?
Primarily, yeah.
Okay, so let's way we implement this, and I go and I get hit by one of these. What kind of liability does the town accept? By putting in these ordinances and everything, can they be sued by respective pedestrians?
You can't ask that question when we don't have our legal here. Come on, man. We'll get an answer to that.
I was just curious, are we opening up another can of worms?
No, I hear you, but I mean, from my non-lawyer view, I would think that would be the same liability as a normal
Now
bicycle,
we're not doing anything.
right?
Yeah, just turning the head blind eye to it, I think you're probably more liable. I don't know.
Just for clarification, we're not turning a blind
I'm
eye.
not concerned. And
We're
not
working,
turning a blind
we're
eye.
working on the ordinance.
Right, but what I mean, you know what I mean? If you don't do anything,
Your 2 minutes.
We got one, I'll get to all of you.
So as far as public notification, some sort of leaflet or a pamphlet or a small flyer, something that the police could hand out to people around 4th of July, things like that that are happening, to inform first, instead of having to have a long conversation about what all the rules are. with every single parent.
That's not a bad idea, and it wouldn't be that expensive to produce. So,
Well, you think they will make it home?
well,
We give it to the parents. The parents are right there.
Yeah.
The parents are the ones that are going to take a lot of your time, like, oh, what's this one?
Emily was actually talking to Chief also about an education day.
Yeah.
You know, that if you're going to use these things, you need to come to this, and so it can all, the rules can be laid out.
And we'll give some kind of award, whether it's talking to Alexander's to see if they'll help us pay for a free ice cream cone for everyone who does the training. We'll throw in some kind of little reward if they take their time to do it.
yeah, signage, obviously, it doesn't work. Jim kind of went to park at all the entrances for I don't know how long now, and they have to drive by the sign to get into the park, and it's, so signage,
Paper that people get to come in, and you put it out, I'm saying.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, Alexander's is a good marketing
This is a
place.
somewhat complex regulation to inform, and bottom line, it's about safety and parent responsibility.
It is. Yeah. Mr. Trump, did you have something?
no, we're gonna use those signs that Joe mentioned, President mentioned.
Well, one good thing too, if you're driving down the road and an e-bike is going faster than your car, you'll know that they're in violation.
right,
That'll be
yeah.
one easy thing.
And that kind of happened to me today going down Stringtown.
Actually,
Bikes.
your radar will pick those up, right?
Chances are it's probably gonna pick up the cars, it'll pick up the bigger object.
But if only the bike is in its view,
It's
gonna
possible.
pick it up. It's going to
It's
ping the
possible.
bike. Yeah.
Depending on your alignment, but it can pick up bicycles if we're kind of like right in front of each other and
Okay.
nothing else is in the way, yeah.
Okay. Jan, then we'll jump to the back row.
I still think we need to do registration of these vehicles, just like we do for the golf carts. I mean, these are electric vehicles that are on the road, and I asked Aaron before if they could be registered, because we do still currently have an ordinance in the books that says bicycles need to be registered.
Bicycles?
Mhm.
Really?
From long ago, I didn't realize it.
Not a bad time to also get out
Exactly.
the ordinance.
My age, when I was a child, I would come up here and get a plate on the road or tie.
Where's the train?
I think that is, let's start with this first, and then we can,
I'm fine. I don't want to put the same $30 fee on it. I mean, maybe a $5 registration fee would cover whatever it costs.
I am not, it would be a good avenue, I agree.
We'll talk about that. We may not get there in the first iteration of this, but obviously,
There's probably going to be some amendments.
yeah, I would think we're going to learn some stuff from this. So,
I was just going to suggest if you're going to have a safety event and talk about these ordinances, it might be helpful to have somebody speak about helmet safety and direct hitting. Since I am seeing kids out there with inappropriate helmets as well.
that's a very valid point. So.
She has a question.
Yeah.
Just a comment. Years ago, when I walked through Forest Park, the bicyclist on the trail, the bicyclist say, on your left. They alerted you when they came up behind you.
Some kind of audible cue.
I don't hear that anymore from anybody.
I went to Causeway twice last week, and e-bikes passes both times flying.
Yeah. I mean, we can put that in there, that there has to be an audible cue to pass somebody not facing you. Enforcement's gonna be difficult, but,
That should be,
I mean, it's an education piece.
Thought we had something, wasn't there, Jeff?
There's bells, I think there's a reference to,
I mean, aren't electric vehicles somewhat required
So
to make
here-
sound for that reason?
Here it is, whenever any person is riding, this is a bicycle upon a sidewalk or multi-use trail, such person shall yield the right of way to the pedestrian and shall give audible signal before overtaking and passing such pedestrian. So I thought I've read that in,
Yeah, that's in our rough draft.
that's under bicycle.
It should, I think anything that
You just add
applies
it
to a
underneath
bicycle
these.
should automatically carry over to this anyway.
Yep. I will add it to my notes.
Okay.
And under your notes, where you just said, as you just mentioned, just says wear a helmet. Maybe make one, I don't want to see somebody out there like wearing a football helmet, or just,
An approved,
or a hard
or
hat or something like that.
appropriate bicycle helmet, that could get
Good
interesting.
point.
Oh, shoot.
Ms. Long?
well, I know, when we've been down in Fishers walking on some of their trails, they have on their signage that, you know, please announce your passing on the left or whatever.
Okay.
And, you know, so some of those little things could be added on the sign, since the signs haven't been created yet.
We could do that.
That way you can call out and tell them to read the sign.
Right, at least, I mean, we obviously can't put every rule on there, but at least that type of stuff, common courtesy items,
Yeah,
you know?
the basic things, you know,
Yeah.
but, I mean, you could look down there, this was at, the Cheney Creek Park, I know they had a nice sign there, and it had just a few suggestions on things that was on there.
Okay.
But if the police do a training, it would be really great if they could include that, because evidently these kids aren't getting the training at home, or they're not retaining the training, you know, and I know I personally, there's a little guy that's got a bike that's on Stringtown all the time. Now, last year, his philosophy was stop signs are for everyone else, so he'd go straight across Stringtown, wouldn't even slow down. So, yeah.
Okay.
Any, yeah?
I haven't read the proposal, I apologize, but if the electric vehicle has it in and is appropriately plated, is it exempt, or do these rules still apply?
Well, if it's properly plated, then it's only allowed on the road, isn't it?
Correct.
Oh.
But there's verbiage about class 1, 2, and 3, and didn't really
Those are e-bike classifications.
like some can't have a stamped VIN on, can be registered.
The e-motos in particular.
And the e-motos too, if they're, one of the proposals is they're just not permitted at all. There is a process potentially where they can have a VIN, they can be registered, they can be plated.
I mean, I would say anything plated is allowed on the road, right?
Supersedes our,
As long as we got
supersedes our
insurance and
ordinance, right?
Meeting all the state law.
I'm in agreement, I think that makes logical sense, I just didn't know. if
You didn't,
verbiage
that
needed to be-
disclaimer should be put in there?
I didn't know if it needed to be spelled
Yeah.
out.
We can ask Aaron about that. Can you add that to your notes to ask Aaron about it? All right. Anything else from the audience before we move on? I think we've got a good start here. Oh, all right. Thank you all for the feedback. Very much appreciate it. All right, moving along. Miscellaneous. NRG.
Give me 1 second.
Yep, take your time.
We had another new energy or fire.
You know, that's what I'm getting to
Yep.
right now under miscellaneous.
Okay.
So, I had sent an email out about a fence, not to everyone, just, I was asking about the energy compliance soil management plan, And I think that has just been, Mr. Hunter, welcome to chime in, has just been provided and reviewed, and I think approved?
IDM approved it within the last few days. I just got a copy of that today.
Right. So I had asked the question, I know Mr. Hunter had been curious about the fences, and we were just out there for that trail dedication, and just rekindles a spark. So Mr. Hunter is meeting with IDEM on Friday. Now that the soil management plan is completed, he's going to meet with IDEM on Friday out there, make sure that they are in agreement, and would like to get council consensus that, one, he can remove that fence, as well as the board. I think it goes to the board as well. And two, not to exceed $3,500 to put up a fence along Britton Street to keep people out with a gate, a wood fence that matches the rest of his park area.
I'm trying to picture that. Where along Britton?
So from the library to the railroad track, essentially. The fence is there now, right on the sidewalk.
The metal, yeah.
The metal fence. Put up his wood fence, just like he has around the rest of the park.
Oh, okay, I got what you're saying. So it's more of an aesthetic than
Yes,
anything.
but that
Okay.
also keeps people out, because you don't want people driving back through there.
100%. I'm in
So
agreement.
is there a consensus between us three that he can go ahead and do that, assuming everything is clear on Friday? Mr. Strong, you sit on that board. Are there concerns?
No, I think the only, as long as IDEM's and no issues with them on that, I don't see an issue with that. I'm sure they're going to have some conversations about what will need to be done and not done as part of that project. So I think as long as those are defined and we adhere to those, I don't see that as an issue.
Okay.
So pending IDM review
Yep.
and acceptance, we have a
Yep.
consensus for Mr. Hunter to move
I mean,
forward with that.
Absolutely.
He's had discussions already. The
Yeah.
gentleman's going to come out and actually walk the project and just make sure. So,
Yeah.
perfect.
And just to be clear, I've already got approval to take the existing fence down. We have to work through the dynamics of putting a new fence in.
Disturbing the soil.
Even if we can't put the new fence in for whatever reason, I would still like to take the existing fence down, even if I have to put parking curbs or utility poles or something right along that sidewalk. I think that would look far better than what we have now.
Been waiting for the day,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So that's what I just want to get that. I have approval in writing in an email from the project manager with IDEM to go ahead and take the entire fence down. We're waiting on Friday to review the actual fence plans, whether or not we can install a new one. But if he says, no, I'm not comfortable putting a new fence in, I am prepared to move forward with parking curbs or the large rocks that I've got other places in the park. I think anything would be better than what we have there now.
I 100% agree.
I do too.
You have your consensus. Thank you,
Yep.
Mr. Hunter. All right, moving along, fire.
So next, Chief Frazier had sent us something out, an email out. It came up later, but I think we should talk about it. Sorry to hit you cold as well.
No
Chief. Dollars from the old ladder truck. He has a potential buyer of that.
Yeah, we have the deal basically done. We're just waiting on we're doing a ladder test tomorrow. We have 2 small repairs we're making on the engine from our pump test from yesterday that are very small, minimal repairs. So those 2 things being done, we have an agreement between the 2 of us of a price.
Okay. So roughly 35K, so roughly 32.5 would,
31.5.
my math was off.
10%. 10% fee to the lister.
Okay. So roughly 31.5K. There was an email sent out earlier. Where does that money go? The town did purchase the new ladder truck. So, I mean, where would you guys like to see that money go? Back to the town, or would you like to see it go back to the fire department?
Chief Frazier, what's your input on it? Where would you like to see it go?
Well, I mean, we have expenses coming up with the potentially buying the new ambulance, things of that nature. So, I mean, it's up to you guys where you'd like to see it go. It all's gonna, basically end up in the same coffers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we take it off the cost of the ambulance or we do with it, it's still going to be a cost to the town regardless.
I mean,
Well, and so let's talk
trucks.
about that for 1 second. If we do, that's next on the list. But the the town, this is my perspective only. So the town funded the ladder truck out of town funds. So to me, it is only right that any money that comes back goes back to the town to recover a little bit of that funding. Regarding the new ambulance that's due in June, if we're all in agreement, that's the next discussion. But if the agreement is to move forward with that, the intent of that was to pay out of your ambulance fees, funds.
Right.
So that's outside of, my point is that's outside of this 31.5.
Well, the budgeted amount is only $38,000, so that's a discussion we have to have of how we're going to pay for it, what the payment would end up being, things of that nature, because we had talked about a payment, and then in the last meetings, I think you had mentioned that potentially just paying for it outright for money that's available, and then our budget paying that fee back every year to the town.
At a lower interest rate.
Yeah, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever the determination would be, however that would
No,
work.
we were gonna use we used that GEO bond money to buy the truck. We don't have that, and then we bought the dump truck. We don't have funds to pay for
Okay.
that whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, if that's what was discussed earlier.
Well, that's what was discussed between, I think.
Well, I think you and I probably need to talk. because-
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we can still, do we know what the interest rate was?
Four
I have no
and a
idea.
half, something
Yeah, that
like
was a question. I was still kind of waiting to find out what the town felt
Yeah.
was the most appropriate way to do it.
Because what we talked about is we're making less than that on other money, right?
Sure.
So you might as well
Yeah, we
pay
are.
the town back. But the plan is that the volunteer corp, not the volunteer anymore, the ambulance fund
Correct.
makes those payments.
Yes, that's what it's
So
always been.
that ambulance fund would just pay the town back.
Whatever the payment is for the.
Correct,
Yes,
correct.
correct.
So
That was
from
my
your standpoint, from the fire standpoint, it's no different, maybe a little lower interest rate, but that interest comes back to the town at a higher rate.
Yeah,
Right.
whatever.
There's $400,000 in that ambulance fund. It's,
Well, but that's
But you
covers a
can't- you
lot.
can't
I
use
can't
all
just,
that.
I just can't take that. That's
It-
got
it's-
a lot.
no, I just meant making payments.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Currently, we have a budgeted $38,000 payment for the
We do.
previous ambulance
We
we
do.
paid off. So it would just be probably figuring out what that payment would need to be, because it's probably going to have to be a little bit north of that, so we'll have to figure out what that amount actually is.
Previous chief was going to take a portion of that 400,000 and pay down initially. Not just do a payment, but pay a portion, a larger portion. The intent was to try to
Figure out what that would be.
get that thing taken
Yeah.
care of, and then you could build for the next time, whenever the next time is.
Okay. I mean, it builds fairly slow. It just depends on what we would see coming in. Like, we just did increase the rate, so we're starting to see that increase coming in finally for the increased rates for our ambulance service. So it's starting to show, except for May was probably one of the worst months for number of runs, which is good for the community because not that many people need to transport it, but it also affects the fund negatively, so.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah.
So that was the original intent, is to take in a portion of that ambulance fund and pay down a larger chunk up front. And then I think the town should cover it and charge 0.5% less than what the lowest bank would, or at least what we're making on that money.
Okay.
Well, there's just a statement, I think, that kind of gets kind of lost in translation, but the fire department is part of the town. Anything that's spent on the fire department is for the town. So it is the same entity, it's one and the same. So regardless of where the money comes from or how it's spent or how it's paid back, whatever determines best for the finances of the community is, I'm all for.
I mean, those ambulance funds are maintained by the ambulance, right? That's supposed to be a self-serving entity, the ambulance
Yeah,
services.
yeah, it kind of does, yeah.
Yeah, that
But it
was,
pays for a lot of other things in the fire department also. So a lot of things have been pulled out of the budget and put into that budget in anticipation of there being extra funds in there.
Say that again?
so, yeah,
I said part of the things that are paid for in the ambulance fund are things that would be paid for by a normal budget if we didn't use that for that.
that's not the intent. The intent is
No,
everything for the
no.
ambulance service is paid out of that budget. Is the
Oh, it is. No, everything for the ambulance service is paid out of that budget,
Okay.
correct? Yes.
And I wouldn't use that budget for services outside. The intent is to support that
Right,
ambulance
yes.
service.
Correct.
Okay. So I guess the question is, money, did we say it's going back to the town or to the fire department? My vote is the town. And I get your point, it's all left
Well, I
in
mean, I'm
that
saying
pocket.
if we take it and put it towards the cost of the new ambulance and bring that cost down, or we,
Yeah,
just
but
increase, or we just increase the yearly payment for the ambulance, either way, it's.
Yeah, but
still the
that's
same.
separate money. It's from my left pocket instead of my right pocket. So the ambulance, because the town doesn't go and take money out of the ambulance fund to pay for something else. So the intent is that ambulance fund pays for everything on its own. So I guess, thoughts?
I don't know. I mean, ultimately,
It's just going to go to the general fund.
that's my whole thing. I mean, are we overcomplicating this?
Yeah.
No, we're not overcomplicating it, right? It either goes back to the fire department and.
I mean, as long as it's targeted to an
They
expenditure.
already have a budget, right?
Yeah.
So just put it back in the general fund is what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, it may end up getting
Okay.
spent
That
on,
makes most sense to me.
you know,
Emily?
That works for me.
Chief, you good with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Like, yeah, financially, whatever works for you guys works for me.
Okay, thank you. And then the new ambulance is due in June, probably a staff meeting conversation again?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm trying to get information. I keep emailing them, and they keep telling me it's close, it's close. All we're waiting on is they're building the box right now, and the box has a firm cost, and then the chassis cost is within $500 to $1,500 is what I've been explaining in the contract. And then they determine whenever they get the box done, and they sit it on a chassis, whatever that chassis cost is that particular day, is the total cost of the ambulance. So it's a very small number, but they haven't given me the final number because
Right.
they're still waiting to put it on a chassis, which they haven't selected yet. And
I mean, it's hard to believe.
the price.
3 years ago when it was ordered, they didn't give you a dead price.
They do, but it's in the contract.
No, I know.
I was surprised by that too. I was like, you guys didn't already figure that, like, increase into the whole thing? But no, it's actually written in there, and
Yeah, I
they
know.
explained it to me, so.
I mean, it was ordered 3 years ago,
24?
Been a while.
Yeah, I think it was on 24. So,
2 years ago?
yeah.
Okay.
At least.
Yeah.
All right, so if you
Takes
could
a
put
while.
that on the staff,
All right.
please.
and just a reminder, I will not be at staff next week.
You will not?
I will not.
And then my final comment is there was a dedication to the energy property, and there was significant effort by many. It was outstanding. Thank you, Chief, also. It was an absolutely outstanding event. The speakers did well. Dan, you and Terry went way above bringing treats and snacks, and the Parks Department and you guys setting up. So it was phenomenal. So thank you guys all for doing that work.
Yeah, I thought it was very well received. Very much appreciate your efforts on that.
I agree, and Dan was kind enough to come up with an article for the paper, so it will be published in the Reporter. Thank you, Dan.
I did take pictures. I did.
Yes, she did, and we're sending her pictures and Dan's article to the paper. And thank you, Chief Hunter, because it really did come together well. Everyone did a real good job.
And this was a dedication to the new trail on the energy property that the town purchased earlier this year. To the Sethi family.
You guys did a fabulous job.
Well, thank you.
All right, I think I'm done.
All right. All right. Moving along to comments by citizens. Did you have anything else, Jan?
I want to thank the council for, seriously taking on this e-bike issue because I think it's a serious issue from what I heard today from Chief Rednauer. I didn't see all the stuff, obviously, I don't see all the stuff that goes on, but I thank you for trying to get this addressed as soon as possible.
Absolutely. And thank you for your engagement. Appreciate all the participation and feedback tonight. So thank you, guys.
Just tonight or past?
I'm going to end this meeting. All right.
No, it's appreciated.
Absolutely.
Can I take you back for just a minute to get a clarification?
Oh, shoot. I'm glad you said that. I need to take us back to something, too. Go ahead.
Up to $3,500, where are we getting that money from?
Thought you were donating.
I could seek donations.
So, Rhonda, does our town council budget have $3,500?
I'll find it.
Thank you.
That's all I needed to clarify. Thank you.
I meant to bring that up as well.
I mean, we have economic development funds.
Good enough.
They're not really active right now, so we can,
I just wanted to know, so Ron and I have clarification.
okay.
I'll ask him.
Before everybody gets up, I need to jump back to new business. I need somebody to make a motion to table the ordinance for the e-bikes.
I'll make a motion to table the ordinance for the e-bikes.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All
And
right,
I
thank you.
have something as a citizen I'd like to bring up. The Kids Go Fishing is Saturday, June the 6th. The Friends of the Park put it on in the Parks Department. So
When is that?
that is this Saturday from 9 to 1. Kids can come and fish for free. They give them poles, they have little prizes, they feed them hot dogs and chips and cookies, and it's a nice time, a nice day. So anybody that has any kids, grandkids, nieces or nephews, send them our way. Red Bridge Saturday.
June 6th?
Mhm.
6, 26, 9 to 1. Gotcha. Thank you.
All right, if no one, yeah.
What age qualifies as kids?
Any
Under
age.
18?
You don't even have to be under 18.
Okay.
We accept maturity as well.
The state of Indiana recognized that for free fishing day, so adults don't even have to have a license.
It's a fun time.
All right, if no one has anything else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thanks, everybody.